Welcome to the Groseal Township Board of Trustees business meeting. It is, what time is it? 7:03. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. It's nice to be in here and see some faces and instead of looking at a TV. We'll start with additions, deletions to our agenda.
Mr. Supervisor.
Yes, Mr. Nadeau.
I'd like to request that action item number 1, restaurant lease approval, be deleted from the agenda, and we'll bring it forward at the January 24th meeting.
Do I have a support?
Support.
Thank you. It's just not ready at this point?
At this point, it's just not, there's some changes that need to be made to it.
Okay.
And it would not have given the board enough time to really look at it.
Good enough. Good enough. Any questions on that?
Just one question.
Yes, sir.
Changes limited to that note that you sent out, Dave? Are those the only changes?
I believe those are the only changes. We're gonna take another run through and make sure we've got everything corrected.
Okay.
Other questions? Seeing none, we have a motion to delete action item number 1. Do a roll call. Joe?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
Mike? Aye. And I vote aye. So action item number 1 is deleted. So all we have is the consent agenda. With that in mind, put forth a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And again, we'll vote on it. Mike? Aye. Carl?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So,
Excuse me.
so our agenda is amended with the deletion of action item number 1. Public comment. 3 minutes, limited to agenda items. If you have anything, please come up and state your name and where you live. Do we have anything on the agenda? Yes, sir. This is agenda only. You have nothing. Where's Kathy? Oh, there she is. You have anything, Kathy?
Happy New Year,
Yeah.
everybody.
Happy New Year, Kathy. All right, not seeing anything, we will, for public comment, we'll move on to consent agenda. Mr. Nadeau?
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda 21-067, which includes the minutes of the December 13th regular meeting of the board, check registers dated through January 7th of 2022, the 2022 Board of Review Income and Asset Threshold Guidelines, the 2022 March Board of Review Mail-in Appeals for Groseal residents, contract extension with Wade Trim for DDA streetscape improvements, and the Recreation Master Plan.
I'll support the consent agenda. Any questions on the consent agenda? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve consent agenda 21-067, which includes the minutes of the December 13th, 2021 regular meeting, the check register dated through January 7th, 2022, the 2022 Board of Review Income and Asset Threshold Guidelines, the 2022
March Board of Review mail-in appeals for Groseal residents, the Wade Trim DDA streetscape improvements contract extension, and the Recreation Department's 5-year master plan. David, we'll start with you.
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
Mike? Aye. Joe?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So the consent agenda is approved. Thank you. No action items, so we'll go right to reports. By the way, the clerk and Trustee Yeager are excused from today's meeting. They had some, let's say, personal conflicts. So, no clerk's report unless something was given to you, Brian. Nothing for the clerk. Treasurer?
Thank you. There's no investment report tonight. The December 31st investment statements are still being finalized. We're still collecting the winter tax bill payments and any late summer tax bills. The winter tax bills are due February 14th, and to date we have collected approximately 52% of the total winter tax rolls. Any distributions required for Wayne County or the Groseal School District have been timely provided to them. Excuse me. Winter tax deferments are still available, and you can apply for the extension to April 30th. Forms are available online at groseal.com. And as always, 2022 pet licenses are available at the cashier's office, actually. It is $6 until the end of January, when it increases to $12. For the DPS Commission, there was no meeting in January, and our next meeting is scheduled for February 15th. And the next at the Rec Commission meeting held on January 6th. The Commission voted to approve a bid to repair Pier 4 at the marina, and that will be brought forward as an action item for the January 24th board approval. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Moving on to the trustee reports, Mr. Bloetscher.
3 matters, Mr. Supervisor. Number 1, I have the pleasure of sitting on the Greenways Open Space Commission. We did not have a January meeting, but our February meeting will be setting out our planned activities, goals, and objectives for the 2022-23 fiscal year. And Chairman St. Pierre is preparing that as we speak. The second commission I have the pleasure of sitting on is Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Commission. A couple of quick updates there. We have a meeting that is being scheduled that involves the engineering study that was presented by Mary Bowling to the commission several months ago. It is a engineering feasibility study for a sidewalk bike path from the county bridge along West River to Bellevue, ultimately linking up with the bike path at Meridian and Bellevue. That meeting is going to involve the airport, or the RIC manager, Kim O'Farrell, Chairman Chad Novak, Liaison Dave Nato, Groseal Golf and Country Club manager John Paul, DPS Chair Bill Kostick, as well as Mary Bowling, so that we can have input from everybody that is going to be impacted by that. They can tell us what their concerns are. The idea is that we're going to be a good neighbor and try and meet everybody's concerns and have that considered as part of the engineering feasibility study. The second matter involves the Ralph Wilson application for funding of an extension of the trail from the corner of Grow Road and East River along the inside of the airport fence that is currently existing next to that maintenance road, and that would go all the way down to the Detroit River International Wildlife Refuge, the Groseal and Gibraltar Bay connector. We have applied for that. That application is in process. It's been acknowledged as having been received, And we're going to have a meeting in February, again, tentatively scheduling that with the Airport Commission, Manager McNee, as well as the Airport Advisory Group. And we're hoping to be able to have everybody understand what the purpose of the application is. Catch-22 situation, we could wait until we find out if we've been approved or not approved, but that causes a lot of rumors and speculation, and wanted to put that to bed before we got too deep into the project. So the worst thing that can happen is, in my opinion, that we go ahead and we proceed with the application and have a lot of speculation out there about how we're going to be removing a runway, and we're looking at removing some of the buffer zone, all of which is not going to happen. Everything will be done with FAA compliance. Spoke with former manager Mike Duker, and he said with the plans that we have, there will be no interference with operations current or those that are planned for the future. So if we can make that known to everybody, do want to involve the Airport Advisory Group, which is the Pilots Association, if you will, so that they understand what we are doing and, more importantly, what we are not doing. The purpose of the grant is to erect a fence, largely between Grow and the Wildlife Center, and it will be just west of the road, and that road will be used as a soft bicycle pedestrian path. So hopefully that will connect the last really, really important piece of unimproved path right now that requires everyone to use East River Road, limited sight distances, curves, and steep grades. Not a safe situation. And the third thing is, yesterday was an opportunity to appreciate and thank all of our men and women in blue that enforce the law. You probably saw a lot of that on Facebook yesterday. I know Julie Cordes had posted, and I believe Laura Schaller did as well. I just want to thank everybody that wears that uniform for all the service that they do during these difficult times. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Carl. Mike?
Alrighty, so I, the liaison for the Police Commission, and we had a meeting on the 21st of December, and have since checked in with the team. They're still managing to do a really good job in the absence of senior leadership. They are making progress towards creating redundancy in key areas. Mention just a few. The vehicle tracker system, scheduling of officers' work time. It's a new automated scheduling system in the last year or so, and there were only 2 people that used to know how to use it, and they're both gone. and there's 2 more that are now using it, and I think they're going to expand that. So we're creating redundancy as well with the FOIA record requirements for requests along those lines. We are training at least 2 people right there. The update on the deer call, we're in a position right now using numbers to the best of our knowledge that last year's call, we started off with about 460 deer when the call began, and based on best estimates and the count that we performed in February 9th of 2021, we would be starting this call with 380 deer on the island. So it's not a perfect science. I think there's a lot of discussion about, you know, what the average offspring is of does and so on and so forth. But that's a 20% improvement. So this is probably the first year where I think we're starting ahead of the game. So good job to the entire team that has been handling the calls. Different second item, consistent with the discussion at the last board meeting, at the December 13th Police Commission meeting, we passed a motion to acknowledge and accept a one-time deviation from Article 1, Chapter 6710 of the township regulations covering the responsibility of the police commission and related parties, whereas the township manager forms a committee to intervene, screen initial candidates for police chief, and forwards a minimum of 3 candidates to the police commission for their final consideration. 2, the police commission's final recommendation for police chief is not limited to the candidates submitted by the township manager's committee, and if desired, they can consider other candidates who they believe are more qualified for their recommendation to the board. 3, it is noticed that the police commission recommends that all candidate interviews should be conducted in open meetings to the public, but acknowledges that it does not control the township manager or his committee. And finally, 4, it further noted the police commission has invited and invites the township manager and either the township supervisor or treasurer to sit in on the interview panel and be allowed to participate in the questioning of the candidates, provide input as to their rankings, but not participate in the final police commission vote for the recommended candidate. So that all took place, and that concludes my update.
Thank you, Mike. Joe?
Good evening. I sit on the Airport Commerce Park Commission, and we meet the third Monday of each month. And just some updates. It seems like everybody is new now to the airport. We have 2 new maintenance individuals that are working and being trained currently. And Janelle McNee is the new manager and is settling in nicely. She's also starting to obtain some of the certifications that you need to have to be to be a airport manager. And there's the ramp project that's coming along fine, and the Pirates Cove, which is right across the street here, which is on schedule. So they are busy down there. They're, as I stated, they are new and starting to come around very well. So that's it for now.
Thank you, Joe. Township Attorney, Mr. Assorti, do you have anything tonight? Okay, thank you, Tom. Derek, do you have a report?
Just a couple quick items. Just an update on the recreation, maintenance, and the DPS positions that we have available. Those positions will probably go to interviews, I think, within the next probably 2 weeks. So we hope to fill those probably in our February meetings. As Trustee Porcerelli had mentioned, the airport manager is settling in very nicely. She's doing a very good job getting the certifications she needs, and also coordinating with a lot of the tenants and different business operations we have at the airport very well. So we're very happy with the progress so far with regards to that position. Community development, we're still waiting on the visa for that position. As you remember, the individual has 60 days to be able to attain that from when it was approved by the board. So that individual's in that process currently. For the DPS meeting in February, we are planning on having a study session prior to the meeting for the board members to attend, if available, to talk about the road millage, the proposed road millage. So we'd like to take an opportunity to discuss in detail with the various board members that proposal, the roads we're going to be doing, and offer the opportunity for any of the board members and also the residents to ask questions about that proposal. So just wanted to let you know that is the intent prior to our DPS meeting in February to have a study session.
What's your date in February?
8th of February.
8th of February,
8th of February.
thanks.
Yes, the 8th. I think it's a screwy month because
It
that
is.
Tuesday
It is
is,
the-
yep.
Derek, I'm sorry, did you say before the meeting?
Yes, we're planning on having it before the meeting, yep.
And the start time usually is what?
We usually start at 7, so we were thinking probably doing it around 6 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Township Hall will be closed on the 17th, which is next Monday for Martin Luther King Day. And also, I'd like to echo what Trustee Jurecki had mentioned about the police department. The staff that we have that have absorbed the leadership responsibilities in that department, officers Brozak and Carmack, have done an excellent job carrying the department through in some very difficult times with COVID and everything else. So I got to give a word out to them and commend them and echo trustee statements about the work that they've been doing. So with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Being that it's a new year, not a whole lot happening. The year usually starts off slow, and It has done so again this year. There was a couple of things that happened, though. Our redistricting went through, and we are caught up in 3 different districts, depending on who you're talking about. If it's the House representative, it's one district. The Senate, our state Senate district is different, and our federal congressional is completely different. It's mostly Washtenaw County. What has happened is the downriver area has been chopped up pretty well. We are a minority in every district that we're in, we're gonna DCC is going to become more important to us because that's where we're going to have our voice. We're not going to have it in our districts. Luckily, we did retain Debbie Dingle as our congressional representative, and she's always been a strong supporter of the downriver communities, so that's good. The state senator will be brand new because Stephanie Chang is term limited, so she will be moving out. However, I got word that Darren Camilleri is going to run for state senator, so we may have a familiar face in the Senate. And Darren was term limited, so he won't. His House seat is up, and we'll have somebody new there also. So we'll see. It's going to be we're going to be challenged in the downriver area because of that. Some good news. We got a letter from the state that our retirement plans are not, by their definition, underfunded or under scrutiny anymore. Not to say they are. Our pension plan is not underfunded. It is, which is perfectly okay to be underfunded, but not according to for the state purposes to be watching us. So we have been given the clean bill of health on that. DDA meeting this month, last Thursday in the month, which is January 27th, 6:30 in this room. And a very happy birthday to Catherine Thiel. I won't say how old she is, but it is her birthday, and we're taking her husband away from taking her out and showing her a good time. So happy birthday, Catherine, and we'll get him home as soon as possible. And that ends my report. Public comment. Now, this is on anything. Again, 3 minutes. Your name and where you live, your address, and I see a hand and not a face. Kathy, Happy New Year.
Kathy Walker, 26051 Thorpe Court. Thank you all for having an in-person meeting. It's so nice to see your faces, even if you get a mask on. It's just nice. You get more of a, you understand what people are saying a little bit better. Thank you again. And again, Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that. Mr. Zelasko. Hi. Come on up.
Bob Zelasko, Blauvelt. Happy New Year, everybody and their family.
Happy New Year, Bob.
Couple comments, and maybe if we could get some updates. The bridge engineer program, are we making progress on that?
So a couple of meetings ago, I was given the task of going back out and casting a wider net, I think for lack of better terms, for bridge engineering firms. I casted the net wide and far and did a bunch of solicitation as far as firms, trying to get firms on board, even as far as talking to U of M, University of Michigan, to see if there were professors and, that were interested in potentially doing some work really far and wide, analyzed potential firms. I did run into some complications with a requirement that I wasn't aware of, that I was getting a lot of feedback from a lot of different firms on, And that was that a certain amount, at least in the state of Michigan, of the board members or the ownership of the company actually have to be professional engineers to be able to do work in the state of Michigan. A lot of the out-of-state firms didn't have that qualification, so aren't actually capable of doing work in the state of Michigan, which was news to me. So we ran up against that complication on quite a few number of the firms that I had solicited. The other aspect was the potential conflict with the firms that were eligible to work in the state of Michigan, conflict with Wayne County and doing other work for the county, and their concern about the, basically how that would appear to the county if they were doing work for us and doing work for the county, and they're worried about that conflict of interest. So that was a bit of an issue with soliciting and receiving interest. Despite all that, I was able to obtain one proposal from a national firm, a very well-known national firm. I think last time we had met, I had mentioned that I was waiting on a response from a second large firm. That response ultimately came in as not interested, and that was once again because of the conflict with Wayne County. I think they're doing some road engineering for them, and they didn't really want to even run into the chance that it might be perceived as a conflict. So in saying all that, in summary, I do have one application or one proposal. I believe that the company is Manick and Smith. So with that, I think I've done my due diligence to obtain as much interest as I possibly can. We do have the one. It'll be up to the board as to how they want to proceed moving forward with that proposal that we do have.
Thank you, Derek. Good job. We have a candidate.
Any,
The limit on the bridge has not been raised. Does that have anything to do with the upcoming repair of the 5 piers?
not as far as I've been told.
They just haven't updated the
Yeah,
limit?
initially they were supposed to adjust the bridge limits about 3 weeks after the bridge was open. They didn't want to wait on the engineering for the load limits. They didn't want to wait to open it until that engineering was done, so they opened it based upon the old load limits while the new load limits were being calculated. That was supposed to happen about 3 weeks after the bridge opened. It's been delayed a bit with COVID with the engineers, but I've been assured mid-January we should have those new load limits.
Thank you. Thank you for the update. Jim, question and answer, your famous question and answer program still coming on?
Hopefully, yes. Now that we're starting to open up here,
Maybe
this is
January yet? No?
Probably not January, probably February.
Okay. And have we made any progress? The board had talked about pursuing the hybrid meeting. Have we made any progress on those lines?
We're going to be looking at that actually this week. Actually, the board has not. It's been mentioned here a couple of times, but nobody's brought the issue to us to discuss. You know, we hear about it here. Maybe we should do this, and then the trustee that brought it up never follows up on it. So we haven't discussed it. But with the ending of the Zoom meetings as a mandate, we have to meet in person. We don't have a choice right now.
True. That was hybrid as an option.
But the hybrid is something that's going to be talked about.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And now that we're safe on the underfunding of our pension, does that leave us a little more room in our budget?
No.
Oh, gosh, Dave, no?
No.
Thought we might have had a few bucks left over there now that we are told we're not under, maybe did we overestimate?
Remember, it isn't that we're not underfunded. It's we're not underfunded for the state purposes of oversight. That's all.
Okay.
So
Thank you, gentlemen.
We're away from the oversight.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Bob.
Bob, did you have any thoughts with that money?
My name is Kevin Flavin, Parke Lane, Roseville, Michigan. I had a question. Are you changing the township's code, municipal code, regarding the police commission having the final say on, or not the final say, but having a say, or the process of how the police chief is hired. Are you changing that?
Am I changing? First of all, I don't change anything. The board changes things. I don't do anything by myself, and I understand that you, as well as some other people, keep saying, well, Budney's doing this and Budney's doing that, and he's not. He's not. He doesn't do anything by himself. He talks to his board, and whatever the majority of the board wants, that's what's done. No, I'm not.
So how are we then having a special committee without a change to the municipal code?
And what the municipal code says,
6710.
says that the police commission will make a recommendation. The police commission in this procedure will make a recommendation.
And are you changing what's taking place? The process?
I am not, no, but we as a board decided to do it this way because of the politicalization that was done previously.
Who did that?
So
Who did the politicalization of it?
in my estimation and other ones, the police commission.
So you're accusing the police commission?
I'm not accusing anything. I'm
What are you
saying we decided, your question was, we decided to do it this way. The board agreed to do it this way. The police commission has agreed to do it this way. So we're doing it this way. The 6710 doesn't say that they will interview. It doesn't say that. It says they will make a recommendation, Mr. Flynn. No. You said 6710, sir.
Historically,
they have done it.
they have interviewed,
Yes, they have.
historically, over 50 years, historically, they have been the person that interviewed and made a recommendation to
Yes.
the board.
Yes.
And it seems that that process is being deviated from, and I don't recall,
Mike,
I
are
don't
you not
recall,
making
Mr. Budney, I'm speaking to you.
I'm asking, I want to clear this up for you.
I'm asking you, has there been a vote by this board to deviate from the
There has
historic?
not been a vote.
How come?
Why? It doesn't need to be.
My understanding is you're changing
No, I'm not.
You're not? Explain that, please, so that the
I just
community.
did. I
so
just did, Mr. Flavin.
I don't think the community would understand what
Well,
you said.
Mr. Flavin, I did.
Well, I don't think that you did take a vote.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. Flavin, come down to my office and
I'm
we
not
can
interested
discuss
in
it.
coming to your office, sir.
Okay, then,
What I think
then
you
have
have
to
an
put up with the
obligation-
answer that I just gave you,
I think
sir.
you have an obligation to the community to explain why you are deviating from the process that we have followed for over 50 years, and you are no longer following the process that is explained in 6710. And the process says that the police commission will
Make a recommendation.
make a recommendation.
That's exactly what it says, is that they will make a recommendation, and they will make a recommendation. As far as I know, they will make a recommendation.
After your committee that you chose,
No,
after-
no, I did not choose
who
it.
chose them? I think that there's a FOIA'd email that says that you recommended this and you chose them.
No, well, you show that to me then, sir,
I'd be
because
happy
I
to.
did not choose
I'd
them.
be happy to.
You please do,
So
because
I think that you
I
owe
did not
you owe
choose
the
them.
community a vote on changing how you're doing this process. I think that you owe the community a vote, the board, on how you're changing this.
Well, thank you for your comment.
I think that you really need to check your emails about how you are unilaterally changing things. with
I
having
am
votes.
not unilaterally changing anything.
That's your opinion, and
I guess it is.
and I'd be happy to. put
Come
it
to my
in
office and
writing.
talk to me about it. Give me a phone call and talk to
Oh,
me
I
about it.
think-
Show up someplace other than here and talk to me about it.
That's not the issue. The issue is you owe the community honesty, openness, and transparency, and you're not giving us that.
You're the one that's asking the question, Mr.
You are suggesting that I come and you just speak to me. I'm
Because you're
speaking-
asking the question.
I'm speaking for my friends and neighbors who don't understand what you're doing, and you have
Oh,
not
well,
taken,
then
and you
if
have
they're,
not taken
are
a
they,
vote.
hopefully they're listening
And
tonight,
you have not taken a vote.
don't have to.
How come?
Why?
You're changing the process.
No,
You're
we're not.
violating, you're not following
No, we're not.
6710.
They absolutely will make a recommendation to us. That's always been there.
On another subject, you said, how much is the underfunded amount for the pension? You're the treasurer and you don't know what the underfunded amount is? You don't know off the top of your head that we have an underfunded amount in the multi-millions of dollars that eventually will come to bite us in the rear end when we have to pay for it? And you don't know the amount? We're paying little bits and pieces. And as it gets larger,
And it's been getting smaller.
well, as it gets larger, if you look historically over the last number of years, it has gotten larger. I'm surprised there isn't a financial plan in place to tell us how we're going to settle that. And as the treasurer, I'm disappointed that you're not doing that. And I also, as the leader of the group, I think that's unfortunate too. Thank you.
What's unfortunate, sir? That's what I thought. Any other comments? Yes, sir, Mr. Heil. Happy New Year, Bill.
Thank you. Excuse me, same to you. I want to, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
This whole affair with choosing a police chief, as I was listening to what Kevin said, I'm motivated to at least express my thoughts.
Please do.
If we look at the history of the choices that have been made by the police commission and accepted by the township board over decades, especially most recent decades, I got here in the late 90s. I think Bill, what was Bill's last name? Bill Barron and on. We've had people chosen who did an exemplary job. And I think this community is fortunate for those choices. We've had a lot of turnover at the top in the last recent history. There's a spirit, I'm almost crying about this, but there's a spirit within that police force that has helped sustain our safety. And they've had probably unprecedented levels of exposure to COVID. And that exposure also went to their families. Now there's something in there, I guess because I was a Marine, it's the esprit de corps, I'm trying to come up with something with a conceptual meaning that has made that happen. And I think that that has value. I can't put a price tag on it that has a dollar for it. I mean, I can't put it in a calculator or whatever and measure it in things like that. But they're still challenged with that today. I trust the process that the police commission uses for choosing people. I happen to think that I'm not here to make a campaign for Pelland. I'm talking about a point here. Everybody knows him, everybody likes him, everybody respects him, everybody would respond to a flag he holds up. And I think that at this moment in time, we need that flag. I'm not saying that this process that we've been discussing could not be undertaken at a different time. I honestly have a certain amount of questions about how the process was undertaken. A vote to me, as I understand process, would have been better. But I'm more concerned about the community than all this other stuff. I'm probably more concerned about the community and the fact that we find a way to understand and cooperate with each other than I am anything else. But in my heart, that's where I'm at on that particular issue. And would like all of you to give that some strong consideration. We need that continuity, we need that spirit sustained. There's been enough challenge here. I was having a conversation with another person here and learned that they'd put a new police chief not that long ago in Riverview, who is now resigning, because the people who were there were accustomed to whatever it had been in the past. Well, I think what we've had in the past from the police department here has been good, and anybody that would sustain that until we get things under control, this isn't the time to try and invent something new. I value what has been done for me by the police. I mean, Pelland helped us out one time when someone who was taking our house and cleaning it got a hell of a lot of money out of us. And he was a champion. I can't talk about that without tears.
Take your time, Bill.
I don't want to go into detail. It's just hard on me. But that is priceless. And we need that right now. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Anyone else?
Yeah, may I ask you a question? Just to explain something, and I want to, I'm sorry, it's kind of muffled, isn't it?
I can hear.
I'm sorry. I just, and I apologize in advance if I misunderstood this. Before, when they were asking about the hybrid meetings, I thought that the board had an action item to have the clerk's office look into it for the hybrid meetings. Isn't that how the action?
We haven't had any action item.
Jameson had an action item, and I thought we voted on it. No.
No, there was an item asking
The
Derek
clerk's
and I to
office.
look into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're gonna, in fact, we're talking about.
I've gathered information, and I will pass that along to all of you soon.
No, it wasn't my question that you're not doing what you, that wasn't it. But I thought I heard that.
I don't recall, I recall Jameson bringing it up. I do not recall it ever being an action item. But the fact of the matter is, we are looking into that, and we're gonna discuss it this week.
Okay, so I misunderstood. I thought, because you said something about the trustee has to look in.
No,
but I thought it was.
you don't just, what I was saying, Joe, is like, you might say, hey, we should look into hybrid, hybrid meetings would be good. Well, just making that statement, somebody's gotta look into it, and, okay, what are you looking for? It has to be more than that. Who's supposed to follow up on that item? Me?
Well, no,
Because it was,
I get that.
You see what I'm saying? We need to know, we have to coordinate it, that's all.
Right,
That's
I
all.
thought that we did that to them, and they're agreeing, so whatever.
Oh, well,
It
but
wasn't
we're-
about
we're-
who's doing it.
yeah,
I wanted to know
we're-
about the process.
Currently, as of December 31st,
Right.
the Zoom meetings went away for, as far as Open Meeting Act. They have, the board has to meet in, live session. The commissions have to meet in live session. It doesn't preclude us necessarily from having a Zoom feature for the residents or the other people attending, but the board or the commission has to. Has to. So
I
we're
got it.
looking into that, that's it.
Okay, it was the process.
So anyway, we're looking into that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Oh, God. Yeah. Kath, I can't see you from back here. Now I see what the problem is. Yes.
Satisfy that question, and I understand that David didn't know the whole number, but you've got a letter from the state of Michigan. Does it tell you what percentage we're at versus what we were at?
No, it merely talked.
Doesn't tell you this
It
percentage.
merely talked about, they're not worried about our underfunding anymore. They're not worried about
But
where
we
we're at.
were at a certain percentage which made them concerned. Do you?
I believe it's 60%, isn't it? And we keep floating 58, 62.
And they did, but they didn't give you a percentage.
They didn't give it. They just no. It was a Boilerplate,
Okay,
yes,
that-
it was a
I thought
and
maybe that
I
would help,
believe-
because I know anything I get from
Yeah.
Volkswagen, they
Yeah.
say it's 115% funded
Yeah.
and all that, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
That-
no, because they're,
Okay,
they're
I just thought that
merely-
might help.
Yeah, they just said, you're no longer in our,
You're out of-
we're
you're out
not
of the-
looking at you
okay.
anymore, you're
I thought
good to
that
go.
might help if you had it in
Yeah,
your
and
letter.
I think our underfunding, I want to say our underfunding
I thought
is
it
around
was-
13 million.
I remember you
was
were at like
20
58 when you were having a problem or something,
and
56,
and it was,
yeah.
it because of, just because of actuarial things, it has dropped down to,
Yeah, but I thought maybe you had it in your letter, that could help.
no, nothing's in the letter.
Kathy, it's easiest to see it as a pass-fail. Simple as that. At 60 and above, you pass. Less than 60,
Everything
you
I
fail.
get from Volkswagen, they spell out, this is where you were last year, at 120, now we're at 115, I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
always
not-
spell it out.
The number has
Like that.
The number has fluctuated over the last, particularly the last 10 years, as interest rates have fallen. The return on the investment suggests that that has a real impact on what your funding is, but now the interest rates are going back up. You're looking at probably a better funding on it because of the return on your investment.
I just thought that would kind of help.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's to what they need to be looking at, not us. Anyone else? With, not seeing anybody, yeah, Kathy's the only one there. Do I have?
To adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
I was muffled.
I didn't, I'm sorry, Joe.
I'm
Joe,
sorry.
I'm
Motion
sorry,
to
Joe.
adjourn.
Do I have a support?
Get support from both Mike and
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Aye. Thank you. We are.